I'll typically, I do like a flat fee kind of deal for pre-foreclosure stuff, which would, deed in lieu would be included in that. If the paperwork that I get back says we'll cancel the debt, we're all good. If it says no, you'll still be responsible for the deficiency, I'll typically cross through that and handwrite my own provision and send it back to the lender. And I've had the lender accept that, and I've had the lender just reject that. If the lender rejects it, obviously they haven't suffered enough pain yet to do the right thing. And back to this analysis, typically the problem with the deed in lieu from the lender's perspective is the lender has an event where they turn their paper loss into an actual loss at that time they do the deed in lieu. So they get a property that comes on their balance sheet, and they have to put it on their balance sheet at today's market value. Then they have to mow the grass, pay a real estate broker sometime in the future to sell it. Typically, and I would say 9 times out of 10, it makes more sense for a lender to accept a short sale, because then they actually get cash in the door the same day they have the balance sheet event. And so to me, I mean, my clients, their goal is get off the hook. I say try whatever you want, but typically a short sale is going to be better for the lender as long as the price is the right price than a deed in lieu. In a situation like that, I have a number of people that have hired me simply to review the lender's short sale approval letter. I'll charge them $200, $250, and I'll sit down with them with the letter. And there's really 3 forms of letters that I commonly see. One letter says, you're definitely off the hook, we're canceling your debt, waiving deficiency. Another letter says, you're responsible for the deficiency. And then there's a third letter that in the first paragraph they say something like, we agree to accept a short payoff. And then buried in the last paragraph in the fine print, they'll say, all other terms of the note and mortgage remain the same. I'll have people come in and specifically just hire me to hold their hands through whatever scenario prior to there being a foreclosure suit, you know, to try those types of things. I see my role is primarily defending the foreclosure suit. I pretty much, in my clients that have properties listed for short sale, I tell their real estate broker, you go and you use whatever title company you want to close the deal. That's out of my, I try to focus on the lawsuit and creating leverage with my particular background. As far as the negotiations go, it's really not negotiations. The lender has a set of criteria for short sale, and whatever title, and I would say there is a difference in that some title companies do a lot better job or have better connections inside the lender's offices to get short sales done. I know one lady in Pinellas that's running like a 90-some% success rate. It's silly. But yeah, I pretty much stay out of that. The lenders are going to approve a short sale or not approve a short sale based on their criteria and possibly some legal leverage. But even the legal leverage in the short sale area is sometimes goofy in that I can, you know, if I try to walk somebody right out of law school through my defenses, they sometimes get lost. And a lot of, because the lenders that the attorneys that the lenders use in these foreclosure cases are often new. They're often, the lenders tell them what to do. They don't truly advise their client, the lender, gee, we got a problem here. If the lender's attorneys were sharper, then they would be more likely to say, gee, lender, here's a problem, let's resolve this. They have this pending short sale. Me personally, what our firm does, if we're defending a foreclosure suit and there's a short sale offer, I put it in big, bold print. I'll send a letter to the lender's attorney. And the other thing about it is, me as an attorney, I can't go around the lender's attorney in the midst of a foreclosure suit to talk to the lender directly, which is another reason why I don't do those negotiations. Because I have to do everything through the lender's attorney. But what I will do in a short sale is I'll put in big, bold letters on a letter to the lender's attorney saying, cash settlement offer. Oh, we got cash. That's the thing I'm trying to trigger. Cash settlement offer, and then I'll attach a copy of the contract. We'll give you the proceeds, the cash proceeds from this short sale if you agree to cancel the debt. So I try to put it in big, bold letters, cash settlement offer, here we go. Sometimes it works, Other times the lender hasn't suffered enough pain yet. That goes back to my contracts level kind of deal. Like they've probably figured out if we break apart this pool in a certain way and we select loans having this criteria, let's shove those into a different company, and that'll give us the availability to go out and get a certain type of government money. Like so much of that stuff is going on, it's impossible to say, but that would be my supposition. I'm seeing more likely with the higher price. If I were to guess, I've had a number of clients that owe $1 million on something and they're accepting a $460,000 short sale. I would say yes, because typically credit unions are often more solvent. They made smarter decisions in general. A lot of the credit unions around the Tampa Bay area were just smarter. They didn't make a bunch of bad loans, and so because they're in a more stable situation, I see credit unions as playing hardball a lot better. The flip side of that would be because they're located here, they should understand the market here better, and they, if it's a reasonable price. The sticking point that my clients often have is they'll get an approval, but the lender will say we're not going to cancel the debt. So then my clients often say, well, then we're not going to close, and the lender hasn't suffered enough pain yet.